Hey guys, today we are going to be simplifying radicals. So first we're just going to start by dividing. It's going to be negative 14 square root divided by square root 7. 14 divided by 7 is 2. So we're just dividing those two and it becomes square roots 2. You can't forget about the square root. And since 2 does not have any perfect squares, it has to stay as it is. And that's our final answer. Let's move on to B. Square root 10 divided by square root 2. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. So we're going to be ending up with square root 5. And 5 does not have any perfect squares. It's just going to stay square root 5. For C, we have square root 60 divided by square root 3. So 60 divided by 3. So we're going to be doing square root 20. So 20 actually does have perfect squares, so we could simplify that. Examples of perfect squares are 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 4 is 16, 5 times 5 is 25, and 6 times 6 is 36, and so on. So for 20, we're going to use square root 5 and square root 4 because 5 times 4 is actually 20. We could just check just in case. So now 5 cannot be square rooted, and it cannot be simplified. So we're just going to square root 4. Square root of 4 is 2. And we're just going to bring down square root 5. That's our final answer. 2 square root 5. Okay, so now we are going to do multiplication. So square root 2 times square root 10. So we're just going to do 2 times 10, which is 20. So we're going to end up with square root 20. And remember, 20 can be simplified to square root 5 and square root 4. So the square root of 4 is 2, and 5 cannot be square rooted, so it's just going to be 2 square root 5. Over here for B, we have square root 3 times square root 6. 3 times 6 is 18, so square root 18. And 18 can be simplified to square root 9 and square root 2. So the square root of 9 is 3, and we cannot break down 2, so it's going to be 3 square root 2. Over here for C, we have square root 15 times square root 5. So we're going to get 75, so it's going to be square root 75. We could break that down to square root 25 and square root 3. Square root 25 is 5, and 3 stays as it is. So our final answer is 5 square root 3. Over here we have 10 plus 15 square root of 5 divided by 5. So we're just going to divide 10 by 5. We're going to get 2. 15 divided by 5. We're going to get 3 and square root of 5. So over here, you can actually just leave it as it is, but I'm going to solve it and do 2 plus 3, which is 5, and our final answer is 5 square root 5. Over here we have a negative 12 plus square root 48 divided by 4. Okay, over here we have negative 12 plus square root 48 divided by 4. So over here we're going to do 12 divided by 4 to negative 3 just tried to square root it and it's not square root. So we're going to have to go to perfect squares. So I'm just rewriting it here. So negative 3 plus square root 16 and square root 3. 16 times 3 is 48. Divided by 4. The square root of 16 is 4. It's negative 3 plus 4. Square root 3 divided by 4. Over here we could just cancel out the 4's, and we are going to be ending up with negative 3 square root 3. Over here we have 21 minus 7 square root 6 divided by 7. So 21 divided by 7 is 3. 7 divided by 7 is negative 1. Square root 6. So we're going to be 3 minus square root 6. And that's our final answer. Over here, negative 10 minus square root 50 divided by 5. Okay, so we're going to do negative 10 divided by 5, it's negative 2. Okay, I just tried to do square root 50 and it does not work, so do not try that. So we're just going to break it down into 5 square root 2. Just do 50 divided by 5, which is 10. So the 2 5's are going to cancel out here. And we are going to be negative 2 minus square root 2. Over here we're just simplifying. So we don't like the negative. We do not want that. So to make it a positive, we are going to do square root 1 to make it square root positive 9. So now square root 1, square root 9, square root of 9 is 3, and square root 1 means I, so it's going to be a 3i. Over here, square root negative 25, we don't like the negative. We are going to do square root negative 1, square root 25, it's now a positive, which is going to be 5i. The square root of 25 is 5, negative 1 means I. Over here we're just evaluating, so 5i times 5i, so I means negative 1, like I said before. So over here I'm just gonna do 5 times 5, I times I, so I actually means negative 1, square root negative 1. So we're going to do 5 square root negative 1 times 5 square root negative 1. And over here we are going to get negative 5 times negative 5, which is 25 I squared. And we know that I squared always means times negative 1. So 25 times negative 1 is just negative 25. Over here we have 2i times 3i, which is going to do times 3i times I, so 6i squared. And we know I squared means times negative 1, so 6 times negative 1. We were just going to end up with negative 6 as our final answer. Over here I'm just showing you that I squared means times negative 1. And like I said, negative 6 is our final answer. Okay, now we have I cubed. So this just means -1 cubed, which is -1. Over here we have I to the power of 4, which is just -1 to the power of 4, which is -4. Right here we have 4 plus square root -20. We don't like that negative. We don't want that negative. We're just gonna get rid of it. By getting rid of it, we're gonna add an I. So 4 plus I, square root of 20 is 5, square root of 4 and square root of 5. So we're gonna do 4 to the square root of 2. The square root of 4 is 2. As you can tell, we're going to do 4 plus 2i square root of 5. So this is our final answer actually. So the number always has to go first. Then comes the I, then comes the square root. This is the order of it. You cannot change it. If you do, it's just going to be a wrong answer. So you always have to end up with a number, an I, and a square root. Over here we have 7 minus square root -18. We know minus now means I. So it's going to be 7i square root 18 because it became a positive. So 18, we're going to break down 18, leave 7 for now, into 9 and into 2. Square root of 9 is 3. So we're going to simplify that. 7, 3i, square root 2. And that's our final answer. Over here, we are going to do 15 plus 20i square root 5. So we're going to do 15 divided by 5, which is 3. We're going to do 20 divided by 5, which is 4i, and then we're square root 5. Okay, so 3 plus 4, 7i, square root 5. Or we could have just left the answer just the way. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye.